What is up, duelists? Arts and Crofts here again with your daily dose of Yu-Gi-Oh! Goat Format content. Today's feature match, we've got Duelist 12 versus Loker 23. At least one of these players has been on this channel before, so good to see some returning players here on the upper echelons of the Duelingbook Goat Format ladder. As always, both players rated in the top 200 of the ladder at the time this match was played. Let's hop right into it. Little RPS action. Duelist is going to win that one and choose to go first. Both players rocking 40 cards in their deck, as is standard in the format. Duelist going to lead out with a Senju of the Thousand Hands, so some sort of ritual deck here for Duelist. One of, if it's just standard Ritual Chaos, one of the more popular decks in the format, but could also be something a little bit more spicy. Tenju going to be able to add one ritual monster from the deck to the hand. And it's grabbing the Masked Beast, which I think is the most powerful. It is just a vanilla, but it is the strongest ritual monster in terms of attack power in the game, so potentially looking to run a more aggressive variant of the Chaos decks that we see. And we're going to add a back row pass there with a pretty aggressive start, landing a good beater. That's kind of difficult to deal with efficiently because it's already floated. So you really the only efficient way of dealing with these ritual monsters in these ritual decks, or these enablers in the ritual decks, is beating over with a larger monster, which isn't too hard to do considering it's only 1400, but the deck is definitely prepared to counteract that strategy. We're going to see a Trap Dust Shoot here come through from Duelist before Loker's able to do that Graceful Charity. Yeah, we'll see it here in standby phase. So let's see what both players are rocking in the hand. Looks like Loker is playing some sort of burn strategy here. We see a Just Desserts, a Giant Trunade, Jar of Greed, Big Shield Garden, Injection Fairy Lily, and a Graceful Charity. Duelist, of course, if they would have, sharked a little bit and waited for Loker. If Loker's just going to jump right to main phase 1 and fire for Graceful Charity, you might as well hold your Dust Shoot. But here, playing it before the Graceful resolves, so the Graceful will be able to kind of conceal some of the known information in Loker's hand after this Dust Shoot resolves. Duelist, though, interesting hand. Got that ritual card to summon Masked Beast. 2 copies of it, which is a little bit unfortunate. Probably wish you had a Manju instead of a Senju. Maybe. You do actually have enough levels worth of monsters between your hand and field to summon the Masked Beast if you want. But besides that, not too much going on here for Duelist, so you really just want to probably protect this Senju and get in for some damage. I guess the play would be to send back Lily, because Lily can beat over your Senju. Big Shield Garden is annoying. You'll take some damage when you attack into it, but you can clear it out with the Tribe pretty easily next turn. So yeah, probably going to send back Lily. Yeah, makes the most sense to me. And then you got a lot of burn stuff to deal with. Big Shield Garden potentially coming through, but I bet you we'll see this Graceful Charity resolved. Here goes the Graceful. Loker going to discard that known Jar of Greed and a Book of Taiyu. Interesting. Okay. So this is not a card you see every day in Burn, but definitely a solid choice to force the resolution of jars that are quite strong in Burn. Kind of a little bit more linear of a strategy, going for a more flip effect Burn deck. Haven't seen any pandas yet, so it could just not be like a Panda Burn. Could be more of like a flip Burn deck, but we'll see as the game progresses. But still lots of known stuff in hand for Loker, that Duelist knows about in Loker's hand, including that Big Shield Gardener, including just some of the other stuff we saw. Yeah, we know about Just Desserts in hand, right? We know about the Giant Trunade, which isn't doing anything right now. Loker gonna go set a set a monster, set a couple back row pass. Nothing super crazy. You gotta assume that that's the Big Shield Gardener. Duelist here, what's the play? We're gonna go Heavy Storm to clear out that back row. Chain Just Desserts. Just Desserts just to deal 500. Oh, and they drew Secret Barrel as well, but really, really strong start for Duelist here. Heavy Storm just being really, really good against Burn. And Loker, a little bit risky setting all that back row when you didn't have a trio or anything to use it, and you could just get blown up by Heavy Storm. But when you play Burn, sometimes you just need to play into Heavy Storm. You can't really do much about it. So deciding that this is one of those times, looks like two of the cards drawn off of the Graceful were this book and the Secret Barrel. But Heavy Storm getting a ton of value here, and now the Tribe or something else can come down to potentially deal with this Big Shield Gardener. Interesting. Why are we... Oh, yeah. So, yeah, going to take the damage from the Secret Barrel and the Justice Arch. Drop them down to 6,100. Burn cards, generally, you want to get like around 2,000 damage with. So, the fact that 2 resolved for less than 2,000 is a pretty bad rate for Loker. So, definitely on the back foot here. And then we're just going to get aggressive here. Fire off this Curse of the Masked Beast. Discarding the one in hand to... Or tributing the one in hand to summon the other one in hand grabbed off of the Senju. So, that's a pretty nice use of it there. It is at least nice with ritual monsters that the way it works is you can tribute itself to summon the same monster, right? Because obviously a monster has the same level as itself, right? So running 2 copies of the Masked Beast here actually ended up working out nicely because it's just a big level 8 monster to tribute for itself. And now you know this is probably the Big Shield Gardener, which Masked Beast can just beat over, and the Senju can start getting in for some damage. Or I guess you could deal a little bit more damage if you crash the Senju into Big Shield Gardener, force it into attack position, and then attack over with the Masked Beast. That's probably the play, just to get maximum damage in. Setting stuff just to make sure that Loker didn't draw into a morphing jar or anything. Yeah, you want to empty out your hand just in case it's the small chance that this is not that Big Shield Gardener. But this is a lot of damage coming through. We're just going to go ahead, conservative route, attack over with the Masked Beast, protect your life points. That'll kill the Big Shield Gardener, and now you can still get in for 3k between the Senju and the Tribe. And you're off to a really strong start here. If you're Duelist, Dust Shoot giving you full knowledge, Heavy Storm against Burn is quite solid, and you've just assembled... I mean, this is lethal already next turn, and Loker doesn't really have too much else going for them, so could be a quick one here in game 1. It's going to go set a couple back row and normal summon a Gyakugure Panda, which is a 2,300 attack point monster, which is too small to get over Masked Beast, of course, but can deal with the Senju and the Tribe. Going to attack over that Senju there. A little bit interesting that you're not going to go kill the Tribe, because that can pretty easily clear out your Panda next turn. But I guess trying to get in maximum damage here. And Panda will power down to 1,800. Still bigger than Tribe at least, but potentially will succumb to the Tribe effect next turn. Now, this does remove lethal from Duelispore. That's only 4,800 damage so far. So Duelist would need to draw another monster or have a ring or something to go for game. So Loker hanging in here for the time being, thanks to that Panda draw. But Duelist still in a formidable position. Yeah, we're just going to go to battle phase. Masked Beast will attack into the Panda, deal a ton of damage, kill it, and Tribe will get in for 16. And now... You stalled for a turn thanks to the Panda if you're Loker, but now you're facing down lethal again. Do you have any more tricks up your sleeve? Jar of Greed to dig a little bit further. Okay. Giant Trunade, so gonna make some sort of play here. That resolves, so Duelist back row gets matched to the hand. So empty back row for Loker to make a play here if they want. It's gonna set a monster pass. I guess potentially worried about like Raigeki Break popping your set monster in the end phase, so Trunading first there, even though it's a negative in card advantage, will allow you to at least stick a monster for the time being, and kind of a desperate play, but you got to do what you got to do. Duelist here, Last Will. Interesting. Okay, so this is like a Last Will ritual deck. Let's see what will targets they're running. Kind of spicy. We got Tribe Effect, discarding Raigeki Break, so Loker, assuming that's what the set card was, correctly identifying that they needed to bounce that set if they wanted to stay in the game. But we're getting a little cute here as Duelist. We're going to play Last Will. We're going to Tribe Effect, calling Aqua to destroy itself to trigger Last Will. And then what's the target? What do we have here? It's going to go just grab an Exiled Force. Okay, so just using Last Will as more of like a toolbox enabler here. Kind of neat. And then Exile can pop the set, and Masked Beast can get in for game. And there you go. Game 1 here to Duelist, and a pretty cool Last Will ritual deck. Not something you see every day, but an interesting take on that strategy, whereas Loker just seems to be on Panda Burn, but with a little bit of, Book of Taiyu angle, trying to get more value out of those jars, potentially. Maybe they're running other foot monsters as well, like Dusk Koala, things like that. We'll go to game 2 here, though. Loker will go first on this burn strategy. Gonna lead out just with the T-set pass, nothing super crazy. Duelist here has a Sonic Bird. Okay. Pretty cool. So running lots and lots of ritual recruiters, I guess, or whatever, ritual enablers. Definitely kind of the third choice behind Manju and Senju, but if you've maxed out on the other ones, I guess this is fine. And Sonic Bird will go ahead and grab a Curse of the Masked Beast, so we might see that 3200 beater come in once more. It's going to set a back row pass, not attacking into the monster. Not a lot of stuff in Burn that Sonic Bird could get over that you would want to trigger right now, so I guess that makes sense. Oh, and we've got Wind Blast in the standby phase to bounce the set monster anyway, so I guess worried that it could potentially be a Jar of Greed, or not, sorry, a Morphing Jar or a Cyber Jar, in which case you really don't want it to resolve, because if that resolves, it's almost an auto win for Burn. So just pitching, Sonic, we're doing a good job of getting free discard fodder, essentially, for this Wind Blast. Just going to pitch that Ritual spell to bounce that and have a solid tempo play. But we're just going to add another set monster to the board. It is different than the first one, though, but could still be something to worry about here for Duelist. We'll see how they can respond. Oh, yeah, can't summon that. Okay, so they are running Manju, of course. We're going to normal summon that Manju of the 10,000 hands. Grab a copy of Curse of Masked Beast. These two together is enough to summon Masked Beast if you want to go that route. We're just going to go Last Will plus Curse of Masked Beast, tribute the Manju and the Sonic Bird to summon the Masked Beast out. So kind of a neat little combo turn here. And then Last Will will trigger thanks to the Sonic Bird and the Manju hitting the grave. Potentially to summon an Exiled Force like we saw last game to clear out this, to clear out the set monster. So Exiled Force will come in, pop the set. It was a Cyber Jar. Nice. So pretty solid use of Exiled Force there. Dealing with the flip monster without its effect going off. And now board might be open for the Masked Beast to get in for some damage. Loker, of course, could be playing stuff like Gravity Bind that could just stop this right in its tracks, but we'll see if this connects. This is some pretty big damage otherwise. Get a normal summon Tribe Infecting Virus here as well. Not worried about playing into Torrential or anything. And I mean, I guess when you're playing these Ritual decks, Ritual is an interesting mechanic because it requires so many cards to be invested to do anything. So Duelist is actually pretty significantly behind in card advantage at the moment. And when you have to make these kind of like convoluted, resource intensive plays, I understand just like wanting to put the pedal to the metal and apply as much pressure as possible because you kind of want to win before the card advantage deficit becomes an issue. Now, not as much of an issue against Burn because Burn doesn't really generally play a card advantage centric game. So maybe that factored in the decision as well. But that's all to say, normal summoning Tribe here turns this 3-turn clock into a 2-turn clock, right? So definitely can understand why they would want to do that. And now we can just get in for big damage here, assuming Loker's set isn't doing anything. Oh, wait, yeah, you can't even normal summon this turn. You already normal summon the Manju. So never mind. A lot of talk for nothing. Yeah, Masked Beast can get in for 3,200. So like I said, it's a 2-turn clock, or that the Masked Beast itself is a 3-turn clock. But with the Tribe we know in hand coming in next turn, that does represent lethal. So Loker gonna have to find an answer to this if they want to survive. Last card in hand from Duelist was a back row, so we'll see if that's spicy. Loker here, what's the plan? We're going to go Giant Trunade to clear out some of that back row. That'll resolve, bounce both back rows from each player back to the hand. We know normal summon Giant Rat, so we might have Crash Rat into Lily plays, potentially. Which is a lot of damage dealt to you. But yeah, Rat will crash in. Summon Injection Fairy Lily. You're going to drop yourself down to 1,000 just to kill the Masked Beast, and then hope that you can kind of stall out from there. Okay. A little bit desperate. Duelist is way up at 7,800 life points, so a little bit risky of a play here. But if you have no answer to Masked Beast, other than that, I guess that's what you got to do. So Loker going all the way down to 1,000, has a back row here as well, but very much exposed here. Just the Lily on board with no activations left, so it's just a 400 beater. And we know Tribe in hand at least can come in and attack, and that's actually lethal, right? Just Tribe attack over Lily is 1,200 damage. So Loker, you better hope your back row is something real. Otherwise, it's just GG super quickly. Okay. Duelist, normal summoning Sonic Bird, so getting a little bit less. So this is still lethal here, exactly 1,000, and it preserves your tribe for later. Sonic Bird will float, and that's just game. Looker back row was just adjust desserts, couldn't do anything, and wow, so Duelist here taking it in a quick 2-0 in this Last Will Ritual beatdown deck. Taking it down over Panda Burn super quickly both games. Game 1, I mean, had the Trap Dust Shoot plus Heavy Storm to kind of rip everything out. In Game 2, just getting super aggro with this Mass Beast. It's just a really hard card for Burn to deal with, apparently. Some cool Last Will plays here. Toolboxing out Exiled Force both games to deal with some pretty important sets from Loker. And yeah, really well played from Duelist. Really cool deck. Excited to see this here in the upper reaches of the Dueling Book ladder. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I will catch you all next time.